Hello and welcome to the Football Talk Exchange. I'm your host Shubham Thakkar and today we'll be talking about Manchester City's alleged FFP violation, the entire case, the leaked documents, the consequences of the judgment that CAS are to pass in early July and a lot more in this special video. So make sure you stick around till the end so you guys do not miss out on the content and value I'm providing to you, hopefully. So first off, as we all know, Sheikh Mansour, the owner of the City Football Group, took over Man City in the year 2008, in the summer of 2008. Ever since then, they've invested massively into the club. The area around the area where Man City lies, around the Etihad Stadium, around their training ground, they've developed that area massively as well. They've invested over £1 billion into the club in that 12-year period from now. But have they violated the FFP rules? FFP was brought into action in 2011, I believe. Yeah, 2011. So we will talk about have they violated the FFP rules and what could be the consequence of that. So let's talk about what happened before the CAS judgment is to be announced. The severity of the punishment, obviously we do know the punishment. The 2-year European ban and 30 million euros were fined from Man City. So it comes as a huge blow after UEFA's club financial control body found them guilty of falsely inflating sponsorship revenues when submitting evidence for the FFP compliance process. So the assessment period for financial fair play is 3 years, at times even 4 years too. Every club has to comply with the FFP rules and coordinate and cooperate with UEFA and their financial chamber so that there is no irregularities, and FFP was mainly brought to action not to limit owner investment but to make sure, as the name suggests, fair play. You do not want rich owners taking over clubs and in a couple of seasons winning the biggest of trophies. So after that statement, how did the City Football Group reply? So City Football Group said in a statement that they always anticipated the ultimate need to seek out an independent body, which they believe is the CAS, Court of Arbitration for Sport, to impartially consider the comprehensive body of irrefutable evidence in support of its position. In December 2018, the UEFA chief investigator publicly previewed the outcome and the sanction he intended to be delivered to Manchester City or on Manchester City before any investigation had begun. The subsequent flawed and consistently leaked UEFA process he oversaw has meant that there was little doubt in the result he would deliver. Obviously, when there is a lot of speculation going around, and when such announcements are leaked, you would already know in advance what the decision is going to be. So City Football Group do want a fair legal jurisdiction to occur, which they believe is the CAS. Simply put, they believe that this case was initiated by UEFA, prosecuted by UEFA and judged by UEFA itself. So like I said, they want a third body in the CAS and not UEFA to interfere in this FFP violation judgment. With this prejudicial process, so obviously they've called it prejudicial because they do believe that UEFA is against their club. With this prejudicial process now over, the club will pursue an impartial judgment in the CAS as quickly as possible and will therefore in the first instance commence proceeding with the Court of Arbitration for Sport at the earliest opportunity. So the decision from UEFA was announced around February time. June 8 to 10 was supposed to be the hearing of the Man City case. The hearing has been completed, but the final decision has been postponed to early July. The official date is not out yet. If there is an update, I will surely update you guys. Keep watching. The club has formally complained to the UEFA disciplinary body a complaint which was validated by a CAS ruling. So let's talk about the investigation now, and don't forget this FFP violation is for their accounts between the year 2012 and 2016, where they did win a couple of titles, and let's not forget signed many of their players which are in their current team and the teams that the Centurion team obviously and the team that won the league last year as well. So Kevin De Bruyne was signed during that time, I believe. Raheem Sterling too similarly. They got Pep Guardiola in as well at that time. Sane was signed at the time. Gundogan in 2016 too. Gundogan and Sane in 2016 too. So I mean, will those trophies be reversed and given to the teams that finish second? Only time will tell. Stick around till the end. So UEFA's investigation was launched, and after a cache of leaked files and documents were published by German magazine Der Spiegel, spelling will be here, in November 2018. The documents allege that City's owner Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan, a member of Abu Dhabi's ruling family, was funding the majority of the club's £67.5 million annual sponsorship, encompassing naming rights to the club's kit. Obviously, you've got Etihad on the kit, the stadium, obviously Etihad Stadium, and the academy via the country's airline Etihad. An email between City's chief financial officer George Chumilas and director Simon Pierce in 2015 appeared to show that only 8 million, less than 12% of the sponsorship revenues was being funded directly by Etihad. So out of this 67.5 million, only 8 million actually came from Etihad, and the rest was sponsored by Sheikh Mansour, who is the owner of Man City's Abu Dhabi, who is the Man City owner. The adjudicatory chamber, having considered all the evidence, has found that Man City Football Club committed serious breaches of the UEFA club licensing and financial fair play regulations by overstating its sponsorship, revenue in its accounts, and in the break-even information submitted to UEFA for the year 2012. For the years between 2012 and 2016. The adjudicatory chamber has also found that in the breach of the regulations, the club failed to cooperate in the investigation of this case with the CFCB, the UEFA's club financial control body. So my opinion is they did win 2 leagues at the time and signed many of the players for the teams that have won the 2 titles very recently. Let's not forget, I think Aguero was signed just before that probably. They did sign Carlos Tevez definitely around that time too. So the point is, so many of the players that won the title then and won the title very recently were signed during that time. I'll keep my phone aside. So FFP allows 30 million losses for every club in the 3-year period for the assessment if these are covered by the owner, and only 5 million if they cannot be covered by the owner. What Man City have done basically, like I stated, is inflated their sponsorship. Only 8 million of the 67.5 million has come from Etihad actually, and City has the owner has flooded the club with his own personal revenue. So it's basically an economy, a country funding a football club, which is it's unfair to the sport of football, and it does not comply with the FFP. FFP although does allow for infrastructural developments to not be covered in those losses. So you are allowed to make, let's say, a loss of 30 million and another 100 million loss if you want to renovate your stadium, massively upgrade your infrastructure like the stadium, the academy, the training facilities, etc., etc., etc. But you look at how City have spent their money. It's all on the high wages that they've offered to the players, and yes, it's been a win-win for the club and the players as well. But again, the point is, it's unfair. You were taken over in 2008 and it's not organic enough for a club that barely were even contending for top 4 or even Europa League spots to win a title in 4 years. Let's hope that does not happen with Newcastle. I'm very sure that would not happen with Newcastle right now. And I know you're wondering, how did PSG escape the FFP violation? I've got that in my phone as well. So PSG did sign Neymar and Mbappe in one summer, but what happened was they signed Neymar for 222 million euros from Barcelona, which was his release clause, and Mbappe, what they did, they were smart. I will admit they were extremely smart in what they did. They took him on loan for a year, and then in the following year signed Mbappe for 180 million euros. So PSG used a loophole wherein when the judgment is to be announced, you have to reopen the case within 10 days. UEFA took 2 months to reopen that whole judgment, and PSG used this loophole to avoid punishment. Again, if you look at PSG's owner Nasser Al Khelaifi, again it's Qatar Sports Investment Group, which again is the Qatar Investment Authority, which is a subsidiary of the Qatar Investment Authority. Again, which means that a country has bought a football club, and all the investments made into the club are by a country. I don't think that should be allowed. If you do so, let's not forget, Nasser Al Khelaifi is also the head of the beIN Sports Media Group, which does telecast or broadcast a lot of the games. It has the broadcasting rights of the Champions League. There a lot of conspiracy theories do suggest that there might be something, there is corruption in the UEFA, which there's lots of allegations about corruption in the UEFA. So this allegation states that there might be an internal agreement between Al Khelaifi and the UEFA president, or the UEFA or the UEFA president, and that is why they're allowing that revenue to flow to beIN Sports Media Group. When obviously they're going to telecast games, there's going to be lots of ads played. So that's how PSG owners will indirectly profit from telecasting UEFA Champions League games. So that is unfair again, in my opinion. So do let me know, what do you think about Man City's FFP case. It remains to be seen whether their Premier League titles will be taken away from them, whether Liverpool will win their previous year's title before this year's title. Will Man United complete 21 or 22 league titles? It remains to be seen whether Premier League will take any action. I know a lot of fans have gone into overdrive earlier and suggested that Man City should be relegated to League 2. That is a bit too harsh in my opinion. Let's keep them in the Premier League. That's not feasible as well. So I think push them down to the Championship or to the League 1. I think relegation to the League 1 would probably be very fair. Do you think that players will want to leave Man City because of that Champions League ban, even if they do not get relegated to League 1 or the Championship? Would you, as a player, if you were De Bruyne, 28 years old, very near to the end of your career, having to face a 2-year European ban, leave your club that is offering you lots of money, but you are the captain as well, but you'll have to wait another 2-3 years to win the Champions League again. What would you do in that situation? Do let me know in the comment section. That is it from today's video. If you did enjoy watching, let me know by leaving a like, and in the comment section as well. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on the loads of exciting and interesting content I have planned for June and July as well, until the current season is over, and when next season is back, we will be back as well. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.